What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Brown Purse Destroyer, just that here. So some crazy stuff is happening over at EA Games, where apparently they sold out to a Middle Eastern company for a mouth-watering $55 billion from Saudi Arabia, which, the way I'm hearing it from the interwebs, is the biggest buyout in history. How does Saudi Arabia have that much money to throw around? Do they make hemorrhoid seats or something? Now, obviously, Saudi Arabia has a lot of oil reserves, but I thought the United States already took it all. And I think the first time in all of human history, even after the Big Bang, even BC and AC, and even during AC and DC, EA is finally going private. Now, why is that such a big hoopla? Now, it's a huge hoopla for a lot of reasons. Now, you might have or might have never heard of a small platform called Steam. Now, what makes Steam kind of similar to EA Games right now is they're also a private company. And the little bit of info I know about anything about business, because let's be honest, I'm a factory worker, not a CEO. Basically, once you become a private company, you can't really share shares or buy stocks from that company. So in a way, you can't buy EA Games stocks, right? The only way you would be an investor to EA Games as of right now, which I hope you wouldn't be, because there's a lot of stupid ways to spend on your money, and that's one of them. I would rather you to spend stocks on Activision, and that's saying something. But anyway, if you was wanting to be an investor at EA, you would have to be a private investor. And there are a whole lot of other things too, but this is the biggest one I wanted to talk about. The one bad thing when it comes to being a public company is having to walk on eggshells for your investors. And we're not talking about little boy Timmy putting maybe $1 into the stock thing, right? We're talking about rich people who are investing probably billions and billions of dollars into a project. And if you don't do what your investors say, then they can pull out their money and pretty much walk away. That's the one greatest thing about private companies. There's a whole lot of autonomy and a lot of flexibility when you become a private company. But the biggest benefit in all this is you don't have to worry about public investor Tom being so why is there a game called Nazi Furry on Steam? Yeah, I don't support this. I'm pulling out my stocks. But that's kind of my rough concept on how private companies work and stocks in general. But if I said something wrong or something's not correct, just put it in the comments, and if I find that I was wrong, I'll pin it. But back to the whole EA Games thing, right? Honestly, what I think is the most bizarre thing about this is the people who bought it. And I'm not talking about the people who came from a land that's made out of sand. Pretty much yesterday, EA announced that they were going to be privately acquired by Saudi Arabia by some public investment fund by the PIF. But there was also another contender that was partnering up with the PIF in Saudi Arabia, which is a company called Silver Lake Infinity Partners, which the first time I heard it, I thought it was like a TV show for Netflix or something. But apparently, the Silver Lake Infinity Partners was actually founded by Jared Kushner. And apparently he's Trump's son-in-law, who's married to Trump's eldest daughter. Let me see if I can say this right. Ivanka Trump? What kind of name is that? That seems like something you would pull out of the mystery box. Guys, you're not gonna believe this. I got the Ivanka Trump V11. She just starts throwing out $100 bills. Daddy Trump, I need a small loan of $1 million. Just a small loan. I don't need that much money. Maybe if you give me $2 million, that will satisfy me. All these fancy celebrity kids with their fancy celebrity names. Why can't there not be a celebrity just called David? It makes it 10 times more easier not have to Google random names just so I know how to pronounce it. Anyway, all little rants aside, what does this mean for EA? Is EA gonna disappear like the kids that go up to the free candy van? Or is this gonna be a redemption arc for EA and they turn instantly into Steam? I feel like it's neither. I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think Jared Kushner is gonna make EA great again. The one thing that the new EA owners are pretty much banking on is AI to cut costs and to boost profits for EA. Now, what this means for employees, I'm not very sure, but I imagine it's not good. This situation really turned into put the fries in the bag kind of situation. And maybe cutting costs and cutting things that they don't need is probably good for EA. And the biggest reason I say that is mainly because they pushed a lot of woke shit into their games, especially at the end. The biggest reason that I didn't buy Battlefield 5 is mainly because I couldn't get over the fact that there was a chick with a prosthetic arm that was in World War II. And even if DICE came out and said, oh, this is like a different timeline, you know, this is like a steampunk era World War II, it doesn't really make sense for Battlefield to go down that route, because it's always been a realistic simulator of battles. You know, Battlefield, that's why it's called Battlefield in the title. And don't get me wrong, right? If there is a demographic out there that do like woke video games, and they're all about the inclusion, equity, and etc., well, then just make a game that appeals to that audience. I think the huge push on woke ideology, especially in video games, has really just gotten really tiresome. But for some reason, these higher ups think that like the audience is like universal, and they pretty much think that as long as the game's popular, everybody will play it. It just doesn't work. And the biggest demographic that's on like Battlefield, on Counter-Strike, on Call of Duty, on any FPS game that has ever been conceived from fucking 1999 to all the way up to 2025, it has always been men. Women do play those games, but it's not as much as men. So when you try to push this ideology over gameplay, over graphics, over basically everything, of course you're gonna get a bad response. I mean, let's be honest, DICE really figured out and found out. They went through 2 flop Battlefield games to figure that out. That's basically the whole entire reason that Battlefield 6 had a fucking gameplay trailer with Limp Bizkit in it. I think if anything, this will probably be the best outcome for EA games. Pretty much just get rid of anyone that's just not there to create good video games, but is only there to preach their own baloney. They're not there to create art. They're only there to send a message. I'm kind of both ways on it. You know, I think it's either going to be a good thing or a bad thing. But I will say that if this outcome means we get better games from EA, I would really like that way much more. But that kind of mindset is banking on really the fact that Jared Kushner is the make EA great again kind of guy. If that does happen, I'm gonna scream so hard under my vocal cords for a Freestyle 2. Like, we need a remaster, maybe even a remake. I need this scrawny meth guy to say I'm about to get freaky for the 3rd time. Give us that Limp Bizkit 2002 stank. But tell me in the comments down below, what do you really think about all this? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think I'm full of shit? Whatever you want to do in the comments, that's up to you. And other than that, like, comment, subscribe, skiddly boppity boop. I'm out.